Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Our colleague Hugh Hewitt was on Meet the Press yesterday because they've got to find one conservative who can tolerate Chuck Todd for 20 minutes, and Hugh Hewitt's the man for the job. He suggested this interesting thought about what he's going to do as a Virginia resident come the primary.
What are you hoping for as a conservative here that wants to see the Democrats lose? This split here? Because this split might actually help Biden, who might be the tougher foe.
I thought the winner of the split was Pete Buttigieg because either the Warren voter or the Sanders voter who was turned off, they're not going to go to Joe Biden. They've already committed to a progressive. I can tell you one thing, because Virginia allows early voting and because I don't know where NBC or Salem will have me on March 3rd, I'm voting this week. And because it's Virginia, I get to vote in the Democratic primary. I'm voting for Bernie Sanders, and I think a lot of people will because he's authentic.
You're going to do calculated voting?
No, it's not. It's because I think he's authentic.
Yeah, you're going to vote for Bernie Sanders against Donald Trump?
No, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. But I want a clear choice between the authentic, traditional socialist and all the people who just pretend to be.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Is that the best play? I mean, I understand what Hewitt's doing, and that's fine. It's difficult to get Republicans to move in mass, though, to vote in Democrat primaries to try to affect the outcome, or in such numbers as to affect the outcome. I've had a lot of experience with that in Illinois. But there's occasions where it's worked. For example, against Gus Savage.
Oh, yeah.
That gave us Mel Reynolds.
Oh, boy.
Didn't turn
And
out
how
to
did
be,
that end?
Didn't turn out to be
Another
much
Rhodes
of an upgrade.
Scholar, huh? Yeah.
But here's the thing. The larger question, is Bernie Sanders the best matchup for President Trump if your goal is to reelect President Trump? I understand what Hewitt is doing and saying. I want a clear referendum on a market economy, on capitalism effectively versus socialism.
I think an easier win would be Biden.
Well, I've said that from the beginning, and the Atlantic is sort of echoing over the weekend why I've said that, which is you don't bring your base, you don't win elections in this negative partisan, sort of this negative affiliation dynamic we have in this country. I don't like the Republican Party, but I don't like the Democrats more. I don't like the Democrat Party, but I don't like the Republicans more. You have to bring an energized base. Joe Biden doesn't do that the way that Hillary Clinton didn't do that, and that becomes a real problem in terms of generating the turnout numbers you need, even if you get the same percentages across your particular coalition partners. For more on this topic, as well as impeachment, we're pleased to be joined by Roger Simon. He is a novelist, Oscar-nominated screenwriter, co-founder of PJ Media, and now senior political analyst for the Epoch Times. Roger, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Happy to be here. A little jet lagged. It was 2 days ago in Taiwan, so you'll have to bear with me if I'm a little slow.
Okay, all right. Well,
We'll take that into consideration.
Yes. So what about Hewitt's observation? Forget even the whole go to the other side and pick who you think is weakest, but the fact that he thinks Bernie Sanders presents the best choice if your goal is to reelect Trump.
Well, I think it'd be the most fun.
Yeah, well.
If you want to look at it that way, I mean, really, it'd be the most dramatic election we've ever had in a lot of ways. It'd be the capitalist system versus the socialist system. Let it happen. I agree with you on that level. It would be really an interesting election, and it'd be educational for the world.
Well, it would be. The only thing is, if you want to pick the weakest candidate the Dems could offer, and setting aside the polling of the moment for a minute, is Bernie Sanders that person? Because I worry about stats like the percentage of people, particularly under the age of 40, who would prefer to live in a socialist country because of, but there's all kinds of reasons. And I worry that Bernie Sanders would bring an energized base and, those millennial types in tow with AOC and the rest.
I agree with everything you just said, but I mean, I still say that it would be an amazing event. And, most elections, you have to admit it, people are parsing endlessly the differences, what's the difference between Biden and Trump? It seems like it's a lot, but it's not. I mean, okay, Trump has slightly lower taxes, Biden might make him up slightly higher. You know, it's not a big deal in the final analysis, but the other is a big deal, and it would be a battle of systems, and we've never had it.
Well, wait.
So it'd be interesting.
Well, I mean, but but it's not a big difference between Biden and Trump. I mean, Joe Biden used to be one of the most used to be on the left wing of the party. Certainly was in the Senate. Now he's trying to catch up to where the left wing is. But I mean, he's signed on to just about all of the big government gambits that the Marxists in his party are proposing. And were he to be elected, you would think that he would be pushed to act in furtherance of those, particularly if you had, say, Democrats still in charge of the House.
I don't know. Wait for the general election. Right now, he's appealing to the Democratic base. In the general election, you'll watch him swing to the center a little bit. I don't quite believe that he'd go that far, frankly. I think he's just a political institution. You know, Biden's been around since the Paleolithic age.
Yes,
he's part of the system, but Bernie really isn't. So anyway, I can understand what you're saying. On the other hand, I think that the other is more dramatic. That's why I agree with you, Hewitt, in that there might be one way of saying it: get it on. Capitalism versus socialism for once.
Yeah. You have a piece in the Epoch Times about impeachment, and you say it's not an impeachment so much as a nervous breakdown from the left, and you go on to essentially suggest that the left views Trump as a zero-sum game. You know, they can't exist if he does, and vice versa. Explain what you mean by that.
Well, I mean, they projected everything in the world onto Trump. And as I just said a couple of seconds ago in a different way, Trump is not as extreme as everybody's saying he is. I mean, look what he did. Okay, he lowered taxes somewhat, knocked out a few regulations. He's not that different from your standard Republican candidate. But what they have projected onto him because of his personality, not because of what he did, is tremendous amount of stuff. As if he's Armageddon, everything that they hate. And it has much more to do with their personalities and their emotions than it does with the reality of what's actually happening. And obviously everyone knows the economy is in rather amazing shape. So what's the big deal? Up to them, it's a huge deal. But somehow or other, they want to kill him almost and kill all of his supporters. And it feels crazy to me. I have to say, it feels like an emotional reaction rather than a wise political reaction, if there ever was such a thing.
And it's weird how if anyone from Hollywood is seen with President Trump, even for 30 seconds, making pleasantries, their whole entire career might be canceled. And of course, I'm speaking about Vince Vaughn, who shook his hand briefly and said hello to Melania.
Well, you could be talking about me. I'm an Academy Award nominated screenwriter, and I haven't gotten a job lately. And not that I would want to do it so much now. I'm doing other stuff, but it's they really reacting with their one part of their brain. The other part of their brain is dormant. That's all I can say.
He is Roger Simon. He's a novelist, Oscar-nominated screenwriter, co-founder of PJ Media, now senior political analyst at the Epoch Times. Roger, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right. Fun to be here.
Take care.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
It's a real-world reality. Gunshots. Sometimes the results are tragic. Now, there's gunshot detection technology and active shooter countermeasure technology available right now. And it was developed for the U.S. government.
Hey, this is Mike Walsh. My company is Walsh Wireless. We are the Chicagoland dealer for gunshot detection technology. This gunshot detection system is nothing short of amazing, and it is highly effective. Who uses it? Government, healthcare, education, houses of worship, entertainment, and a lot more. There are no false positives, and that's good. The system can identify the caliber of the gun, so law enforcement can be prepared. This gunshot detection system can also work with your current security system to do a lockdown, instant notification, and more. Identify the gunshot and cut down response time. You need this gunshot detection technology from Walsh Wireless. Wireless. Cost-effective solution to counter a real-world reality.
Financing available. Go to walshwireless.com. A proud IBEW contractor. walshwireless.com.
Got a great night's sleep last night, all thanks to My Pillow. And guess what? Those new Giza cotton sheets from My Pillow are to die for. And the buy one get one free offer on those Giza cotton sheets is still available today, and it could be over any time now. So you should get on it. You've heard me talk endlessly about the great night's sleep everyone can get with a My Pillow and those Giza cotton.